Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. Welcome in to the Academic Foxhole. I am Trooper SJP, and I'm happy to see you here today. First off, Dave, how are you? I'm doing well. Where's my cursor? You know, I've got three, what do you call them? Three monitors, and now I don't know where my cursor is at any given time. Hey, how is everyone doing? What is new? I plugged in my Stream Deck, but I haven't figured it out yet because I was like, wait a minute, do I need a new profile? What's going on? And so it's just plugged in and sitting there and not doing anything of use, but it will. I'll work it out sometime in the very near future. Also, I love the Bob Ross hair on your kappa. Krellin is here until his brain starts to hurt. So I have news, everyone. It's past midnight. I'm glad you had a good, wonderful yesterday, or today for me, right? I mean, I think, right? Yes, I am. Although, actually, I switched shirts today. I actually had to do. There's a job search going on right now for a new music librarian, and I'm on that search committee. And so today I had to go in and see one of the candidates. We have three candidates, and one of them came in yesterday, and one of them was in today, and one will be in on Monday. And I had to interview them and then watch their presentation on how they would be a wonderful music librarian. And I was in a different shirt, like with a shirt and tie. And then I was working on fellowship applications. And then when I got done, I was like, I'm going to stream, and I'm going to get out of my shirt and tie and get in a nice, welcoming and relaxful shirt to hang out with you all. So I did. Today is yesterday. Today for you. Today for me is yesterday for you. So Dave, you are a time traveler, I think. And Geeks is only here to distract me from reading. But actually, this is important. I thought I should announce a thing. We're going to read. I want to show you the book itself, but I can't because I've got an ebook version, and my actual book version is not over here, but in a box somewhere over there. But guess what? Guess what? Anna Geeks is going to be my guest today on the show, on the stream, after we finish reading Atlanta Nights. So how cool is that? We're going to read some Atlanta Nights, and then we're going to have Anna Geeks. I'm excited. When we have a president who doesn't wear ties, will the tie finally die? Probably not. Probably. No, wait. Anna Geeks being there is totally cool. I'm really excited. For those of you who don't know who Anna Geeks is, including whoever this person is in chat claiming to be Anna Geeks is the chief director, CEO of Geekspace TV, a streamer who does baking streams and also video games and reads, does like lots and lots of exciting things, and is also a trained game designer and GM and player. We're going to have a lot to talk about. I'm very excited. Just like this is me being excited about it. Whatever. She's not boring. Don't you talk smack about my buddy Anna Geeks. Don't do it. Good evening, Levi. Wait, no! Her baking is so delicious. I had this amazing pie made by Anna Geeks. I don't know who this fake Anna Geeks is. Fake Anna Geeks running around talking smack. I deny it. The tie tells lie, let it die. Literally only 10-minute difference between being yesterday and today for me, and from today to tomorrow for you. This is what it is. Time traveler. I already have the title of a nine-tailed king and a voodoo master. Yeah, no, it's good. Take also time traveler. This is the deliciousness of multiple, more like Anna fakes. Anna fakes, not Anna Geeks. Fake Anna Geeks. That's all. Fake Anna Geeks. This is an important thing. I just turned off the ringer off my phone. So I plugged in the Stream Deck, but it's just here. Wait, there. Whoosh. Right? It's not, I didn't do anything with it. It's just plugged in and sitting there not doing anything. But I'm going to figure it out today after stream. I'm gonna work it out. But in the meantime, I just set up hotkeys on my computer so I can switch, between the things. Yeah, I just feel like I've got to sit around and figure out, like, do I need a new profile? Let's say yes, and then what all can go into the Stream Deck and what all should go into the Stream Deck. I know I can press buttons to switch scenes, so that seems like a thing one should do, like, oh, switch the scenes, boop, boop, boop. But I imagine there are other cool things you can do. Yeah, I'll just figure out yesterday. Oh, hey, something just happened. My connection was lost. Well, my connection was lost. Hey, everybody. I just want you to know. Hold on, I've got to plug in something. Where did that go? The connection to my keyboard was lost. All the things go in the Stream Deck? Is that really true? Like, do they, like, what all just... I think that my keyboard is out of battery, so I'm going to just plug this in right now so that it will still work. Let's hope that's the case. Your connection... No, my actual, like, no, I'm talking about, this one. Oh, you know what I can do? I can test it. Yeah, we look good. I think we're fine. Yeah, so I'm really excited, and I think that I know that I can switch scenes and turn on and turn off the stream and the recording. I feel like that's a thing that you can do, but I think there are other things you can do with the Stream Deck. They say you can tweet out things with the Stream Deck, but that's like, well, okay, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you can't. I don't know. There's one streamer I've seen who has a few short video clips on buttons that play. Well, that seems exciting. Do you have opinions on Soviet Kryptonians? Oh, you mean like Superman, but from the Soviet Union? Or do you mean like Super Russian Man? Captain USSR? If I may ask, what kind of games do you play and what genres do you prefer? In terms of RPGs? Superman Red Sun, like, is that what we mean? If we mean RPGs in terms of, rather than computer games, or do we mean computer games? Because I feel like there are many... Yeah, that's right. I remember Red Sun. I never read it, but I think that... So I don't know if it was well done or not. I don't know if it was like a cool thing or was just some kind of strange anti-Soviet propaganda, Red Scare stuff, or if it was actually really interesting and cool. So I haven't read it, but I feel like the concept is interesting and it could be really great. This is a question. But I do want to know. I want to know, Dave, do you mean computer games or RPGs? That's another question I have. What kind of games... Hey, Thunair. Yeah, the concept seems really cool. I don't know if it was executed well, but the concept seems neat. One of the better Superman comics, in my opinion, since Superman comics are usually perfect person, but he's not a person. I like Superman, but I feel like they don't always write him in the most interesting ways. That's my take on that one. I feel like they could write it better. So... we are going to read chapters 5 through 8 and or 9 of Atlanta Nights today, which is this hoax book written to be the worst ever. And then after we're done, we're going to have RPG talk and bring in Anna Geeks. Hello, Denise. Hey, I just got caught up with last week's reading and I now know what it feels like to have a stroke. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, Denise, welcome in. And I'm so excited for you to have more drama with the stream. By the way, again, we have high school students, international high school students that are just out there. And they like to scream. So if you hear screaming, it is international high school students being ridiculous in my dorm. Just note that will probably happen. Oh, they used Red Sun and Supergirl last night? Oh, that's interesting. Hello, Anarch Dovey. Baron, I'm a little late, but did you? I haven't started the reading. I'm going to start it right now. So last time on Atlanta Nights, we're going to try to get some sort of continuity here. We got to meet who may be our protagonist. Yeah, oh, screams. Oh, my teenagers and screaming. It'll be great. We met Bruce Lucent, software developer who's very rich and is just out of a car accident, a terrible car accident. His girlfriend is Penelope Urbane, who was not originally rich, but now I think she is. She's a redhead. Also, his best friend, Isidore Trent, who's also a redhead, and who also didn't start off rich, but now I think is also rich, and maybe has some resentment about Bruce, because Bruce is kind of a jerk. And then we also met Margaret Eastman, the nurse, who was treating Bruce Lucent, but also had sex with him at the prom, and she doesn't know what to do about it because she hasn't seen him since then, and oh no. We also met Yvonne Perrin, Penelope Urbane's friend, who drinks quite a lot, and Steve Suffern, the hot studly masseuse at the polo club. So, oh, and we also ran into a random guy who is a police officer who's meeting a stock manipulator who is also a police informant. We don't know how they're connected to the story at all, if at all, because this story was written by like 26 different people and assembled in a way. This is oh yeah, and Margaret Eastman's hips sway like palm trees in a Hawaiian hurricane. This is true. The rich guy, he could be the bad guy. We don't know. All right, so chapter 5. There she was, the pretty nurse Stephen had seen while he was visiting Bruce Lucent in the hospital. It had just been luck, because he stepped out of Bruce's hospital room, thinking about Bruce's ass, a nice tight ass, when he'd seen her. Her hospital uniform, so loose on some of the nurses, was tight on her. It highlighted her ass, and her other assets, too. Even loose green scrubs couldn't hide those, her chest, straining at the fabric like they wanted to break free. Stephen licked his lips and rubbed his hands together. Women like his hands, they said, and men. He made more money than all the other masseuses at the polo club. Tips from people who appreciated his hands. Hey, he hissed and got her attention. She looked him up and down, taking in how his shirt strained over his sculpted abs, and how the front of his tight jeans bulged, and how his hair hung sexily over his eyes. She smiled. Those sexy eyes sparkled, those rosy lips pouted. I saw you at the hospital, she said. You came to see Mr. Lucent. Excellent memory, he congratulated. He knew his smile, lit up dark brown his eyes, accented his tanned cheekbones, like the rest of you. No. We're going to read it. Everyone's the bad guy. How big are his hands? We don't know. He has giant man hands. Well, anyways, I was quick on the draw, but I'm going to go now play some SPC, CB, or Doom before I go to sleep. I need to be rested for today. Well, tomorrow, I don't know anymore. Good night and sweet dreams. Have a great rest of the stream. Thank you, Dave. Have a good sleep, sleep well, and have a good day tomorrow. Super tomorrow for me. Yeah, she was pouting and also smiling. It's a little unclear. She blushed, and the warm rush of color colored her face and neck on down into her cleavage. His eyes followed where it led, and she saw him staring down her shirt. She seemed to like it. Buy me a drink? Bars this close to the hospital had people drinking to forget what horrible sicknesses their loved ones had been sitting in them. They weren't very good places to start romances, so after one drink, Stephen queried, Let's go somewhere else. This place is depressing. It's raining outside. She moved closer to him, like he could keep her warm in the rain. I'll keep you warm, he promised. That's what she wants to hear. She leaned closer on the bar stool. He looked around at the sad people with their drinks, but no one met his eyes, so he leaned down and played with a piece of her sleek brown hair. I'm Stephen, he explained, after a little while when she didn't say anything. Do you ever try to forget things, Stephen? the sexy nurse asked him. All the time, but I didn't forget you. You are not forgettable. She turned her head around and smiled at him. That smile made her look younger, like she was a teenager. It was pretty, with straight white teeth. She didn't wear much lipstick, but he liked it that way, probably for her job. I'm Margaret. I didn't forget you either, even though it was days ago at the hospital. You are easy to remember. He smiled lazily at her, glad that he worked out, because it must be his abs and his muscles that made him so easy to remember. The colors were colorful, also colored the color of colors, says Veritor. Krellin says, I'm not paying attention, which I'm pretty sure is the only reason I'm still literate. He is wearing a shirt, but it's straining on, like, apparently you can see his abs through his shirt, which makes me a little bit worried about him, since I don't think you should be able to see abs through a shirt, but hey, nobody asked me. Their faces got closer together. He might as well not be wearing a shirt because this shirt is so tight. He was looking at her in the dim light from the bar, ignoring the jangling music. It was noisy in here and stank of beer and other things he didn't want to think about. So he thought about her. Looking down at her like this, her shirt gapped open more, and he could see the top of her bra. They were making her chest was making his jeans uncomfortable. Let's forget what you want to a fogey then, Steve encouraged. Let's forget what you want to a fogey then. That sentence does not make sense, but we're gonna go with it. Let's forget what you want to a fogey then, Stephen encouraged. She smiled a little bit, and those rosy red lips parted. Her teeth shone like perfect pearls in the dim light. He wanted to taste those lips. She closed her eyes and tipped her head back some more. That was his cue, he could tell. So he pushed his lips against hers. It's a mesh. Yeah, there's some spelling errors in here, is what I'm telling you. And he is one of those dudes that wears his shirt like 4 times too small. Her lips were warm and soft and tasted like breath mints. It was good. She sighed a little bit, and he thought she would pull away then, but she didn't. So he made the kiss better. He ran his tongue along those perfect teeth. The feeling made him more sure he wanted to get her out of this bar. This isn't a very good place to kiss, he stated. But it was a very good kiss, she exclaimed dreamily. He paid the bill, then put his sweater around Margaret's shoulders. Wait her, he mentioned meaningfully. I'll bring my car around. Thank you, right? Q, it is quality literature, wouldn't pass peer review. Teeth like searchlights, just glowing. She is teeth and breasts. That's true. That's all she's got. It's just like, I feel like licking someone's teeth is not the best way to kiss, but hey, I don't even know. His Miata, bright red like her lips, sparkled with raindrops like diamonds in the light from the streetlights. Margaret giggled whilst he held the sweater over her head and led her out to the car. Climb in, fair princess, he chuckled, holding the door open. Soon, that sexy nurse was sitting close to him on his sculpted dark blue velvet sofa. The lava lamp glowed on her face. Blue made her look mysterious. Reds shouted sex. Her eyes were deep pools of mystery. This car is also a redhead. He put in a DVD that his last girlfriend had said was sexy. The music filled the room with drum beats like heartbeats and rhythm like 2 people humping. Let me give you a massage, he said. I give really good massages. I'm waiting. She turned her back to him, and he laid his hands on that sexily slender neck. I need to pull your shirt up. Mm-hmm. He started to massage the tight muscles of her back. She was so tense, but he could fix that. A little oil, patchouli. Yeah, I know. There's just a jump in time and a lava lamp. Maybe she is an eldritch monster made of breasts and teeth. That would be awesome. Not for him, because then he'd be destroyed. The lava lamp is unrealistic. Yeah, the music has the rhythm like 2 people humping. That's what it said. And like, I don't know where he's keeping the patchouli oil. I will make exaggerated waving motions. So, she was tense, but he could fix that. A little oil, patchouli, down to her slender waist, then her voluptuous hips. Ease tension, and he could smell her reaction even over the oil. Yes, she was ready. He turned her over and massaged her chest, D cups at least, with his scented, that's spelled with a 3, fingers. Did he take off her bra? Did she? And who undid her skirt? All he knew was that her muscles softened and her tension went away under his skilled fingers, and then her muscles tightened again as she pulled frantically at the zipper of his jeans. That was when he pushed his fingers into her yielding brown hair and pulled her face to his. Their tongues met like wild beasts, their dance ageless and timeless. You have a hell of a body, she exclaimed into his mouth. So do you, he moaned. Even as she was older than I, she was still hot. Lava lamp? Now that's just unrealistic. I think it would be so much better were she an eldritch monster. His raging manhood was bursting at the seams of his jeans, and so he undid the zipper. She couldn't. She was moaning, lying on the soft velvet of the sofa, completely abandoned. As they came together, he thought how much better this woman, who was experienced and sexy and had been patting on all the right places, was to make love to than the ones he threw himself at him, than the ones who threw themselves at him for his body. They writhed together like wild beasts on the velvet, somehow moving to the deep shag on the floor. He has a shag carpet. His hand, still oily, massaged her as he moved into her. She panted against his chest. She breathes more, getting more and more agitate. Stephen could tell she was really getting into this. He was turning her on. She got faster and faster, and finally she screamed, "Henry!" and went limp underneath him. I don't know who Henry is. Of course, he has a shag carpet and a lava lamp. I don't even know. Her waves of passion set off Stevens, and her passion pumped him dry. She lay with her head on his chest, looking up into his eyes. The light from the lava lamp was purples and golds now. Purple and gold, the colors of passion. It shone on her face, damp with sweat from their wild sex. The purple made her glazed brown hair look like some exotic African princess, naked and willing. That's the hair. After a few minutes, he started again. Stephen was tired the next day because he and Margaret had made love more than one time. First in the living room, then in the bedroom, then in the bathroom in the shower. Then he took her home, and then they had held hands like little kids and kissed outside her door. He couldn't remember any woman or boy as hot as she was. None of those teenagers had ever been like this. He definitely wanted to see her again. He was giving massage to one of the regulars at the Polo Club, a guy named Isaac Stevens. Hold on. Shagging on the shag, right? Shag carpet, lava lamp. He was turning her on like a lava lamp. Yeah. Someone like sports team. I don't know since when gold and purple are the color of passion. I really don't know, but I feel like gold and purple are the color of a sports team. And also I feel like gold and purple is not how lava lamps work, but I think the Vikings are purple and gold, right? He was giving massage to one of the regulars at the Polo Club, a guy named Isaac Stevens. Stephen wasn't interested in Stevens because the guy was too old. Besides that, he had Margaret on his mind. He must have yawned one too many times. Late night last night, wondered Stevens. His voice was kind of muffled by the table he was lying face down on. Oh, yeah, Stephen muttered dreamily. He wished it was Margaret's back he was massaging right now, or maybe somebody else he could get a quickie in with. Thinking about Margaret was making Stephen hard. She must have been something, Stevens guffawed wickedly. Or was it a he? It was a girl. No, a woman. Not just any woman. The best I ever met, enthused Stevens. I'm glad, B. Boodle, that the bad description of the sex scene just gave your brain an STD. Stevens wriggled on the massage table. He was probably getting hot thinking about Stephen's night last night. Does she have a name, or are you keeping her all to yourself? You know those centerfolds of naughty nurses? I think they're all true. That's what she is, a nurse, at the Atlanta General Hospital right across town. Stevens mused. Every time I ever went to the hospital, the nurses would hardly talk to me. Must be? That sentence doesn't make sense. It's fine. Probably Stevens' mind was not on the conversation. It was on Margaret. He could tell she did like his abs, and his ass, the way she had gripped it. Well, does she have a name? Stevens said one more time. Oh, yes. Margaret Eastman. He drew the name Margaret out like a kiss. Marguerite. That was the end of chapter 5. 25% of adults have brain herpes. Oh no, she wants him for his body too. It's true. Maybe she only wants him for his body. I don't even know. I have that Ray Stevens song, It's Me, Margaret, going about. That's a good one. That's a good one. Chapter 6. We're back to Bruce Lucent. Bruce rubbed the thick foam collar around his neck with his good hand. The stupid thing itched badly, and he knew it looked like he knew it looked terrible, but the surgeon had insisted that he must wear it. The spelling is really bad here. Sorry, I have to figure out because it's W-A-R-E. That he must wear it constantly for the next month or suffer the consequence. At least it kept his neck warm in the frigid air conditioning in this restraint. I know, she wouldn't want him for his writing skills. He followed Isaac Stevens, who followed the waiter around past the side entrance and between tables and a booth at the back. Bruce stomped his cane down on a lady's foot at one of the tables, and she swore at him. Damn stupid gimp. Whence watch out where yez going. Okay, hold on. Sorry. This person must have a bad Southern accent. You'll have to forgive me. Why can't someone want him for his interior design skills? His interior design skills with the shag carpet and the lava lamp clearly is what makes Steven Suffern the best. All right, this person is probably has got a Southern accent. It's from the way it's spelled. So Bruce stomps his cane on this woman's foot, and she says, "Damn stupid gimp. Whence watch out where you's going with that damnable misbegotten horse and stupid cane. You a damn agit." "Gaseous, you old bat," he howled. "Watch your own feet and keep them out of the way so I don't trip over them. Don't you know who I am? Give me any more trouble and I'll have your ass arrested. So far, your false teeth will pop out of your head." Colia says, "I don't usually support book burning, but in this case, I may make an exception. It's so bad, it must be purged with fire." 3 waiters hurried over. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Lucent," they sniveled. One of them turned on the old lady and shouted, "Backs off, you! That's Mr. Lucent, and he owns half this town." Another waiter spoke up and yelled, "Why, he owns more than half of this town, of this here Trotter's Corner, and that's a fact." They gathered around her and knocked her out of her chair and then kicked her a few times to teach her a lesson. Apparently, that's what happens when you insult Mr. Bruce Lucent. Waiters will knock you out of your chair and kick you. Apparently, yeah. Mm-hmm. Bruce limped on after Stevens, leaving the waiters. I think that Isaac Stevens is the stock manipulator. So, ooh. The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fana, and fo. And then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can rhyme. Velar, 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 bobela, banana, fana, fofela, fee, fi, momela. Velar. Valar, thank you so much for using your Twitch Prime subscription here on our channel. It is very much appreciated. All of these subs are going to help make, the channel better, like getting this exciting stream deck, which I got, but also to help pay for a cast for an RPG that I will be running sometime soon. I'm going to be doing Cthulhu Confidential, and I'm just working on some casting, and I hope to stream that in July, because July will be better than August, but casting. Thank you very much. Also, we have a Discord that you can hang out in if you like. Oh my goodness. This book needs to be filmed by Uwe Bolis. I totally agree with you. That would be amazing. And the waiters are neo-capitalists. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Valar. So, the waiters have just beaten up this old lady in the restaurant. Bruce limped on after Stevens, leaving the waiters to handle the woman. It was stupid people like that who had inspired him to climb to the top. He didn't ever want to be stuck with riffraff like that, so he'd used his computer skills he had learned from cracking PlayStation games and writing viruses on the internet to build his company to a person was today. Please note, if there are weird sentences, I'm not misreading them. That is how they're written. A giant among software development companies. Not bad for a guy just out of his teens. So apparently, Bruce Lucent is also just out of his teens. This is Southern hospitality at its finest. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. That's right. Printed on Peach Avenue. So, he bumped another table with the cast on his leg, but the people there cringed. "Sorry, Mr. Lucent," one claimed. "I hope that didn't hurt you." "No," he offered magnanimously. "I'm okay." He limped across to their booth and slid in across from Stevens. "So, what did you want to talk to me about?" he growled. Yeah, they did say the problem was years ago, but somehow he's both also in his 30s and just right out of his teens. No troll play. This isn't actually carpal tunnel. I got extensor tenosynovitis, which is excess fluid in the extensor tendons, which I think I got because the crown on my watch was probably digging into because I got a new watch and the crown of the watch was digging into the tendons, I think. It's a little unclear. But, I need to go and do my wrist exercises. It'll be fine. How many have I done today? 2? I need to do more. Somehow, yeah, I know, we'll just have the yelling of the teenagers as the sound effects for a restaurant. No, he offered magnanimously, "I'm okay." He limped across to the booth and slid in across from Stevens. "So, what did you want to talk to me about?" he growled. Let's have a drink first and get something to eat," soothed Isaac. "That dumb old lady seems to have upset you, so let's relax for a while and then we'll talk about business." "Suits me fine," offered Bruce. He turned to the waiter. "I'll have a Shirley Temple screwdriver with absolute vodka on the rocks." "Yes, sir," exclaimed the waiter. "And you, Mr. Stevens?" "Spay's burn on the rocks with a little Pepsi. A good single malt needs a little sweetening." I prefer Mountain Dew with my single malts," quibbled Bruce. "Or maybe prune juice. It's more natural somehow." "My daughter Irene likes it with root beer, but she's a little weird," chuckled Stevens. He rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close-trimmed hair. Grandmaster Monk. Oh, yeah. So, wait. A Shirley Temple screwdriver with absolute vodka on the rocks. Isn't that not at all how that even is supposed to work, right? Like, I think that's not how that's supposed to work at all. Speaking of which, I'm going to do my wrist exercises right now. Yeah, the wrists like biceps. So hardcore. So he has a Shirley Temple screwdriver. So does that mean I don't, and so then they want Mountain Dew with their single malt whiskey? Is that a thing that people do? I don't even know. It's fine. Also, that prune juice and whiskey sounds really gross, but whatever. It's fine. This is how this book works. "I heard about your accident at the polo club. I guess you're lucky to be alive. Henry Archer went off the road on the same curve a few nights later in his Humvee, but he didn't survive. The cops said someone had dumped a bunch of used oil on the shoulder near there. That might have been what got you and Henry." I feel like it's not good. "Could be. I was only doing 95, but I slid right off when I got there. Had to throw away the boxer shorts I was wearing. They were nice ones, too. Glow-in-the-dark green with luscious red lips printed all over them. I miss those shorts," whined Bruce. He scratched at his crotch where the leg cast rubbed and itched. This is how the book works. Barely. Though in some parts of the South, they'll ask you which kind of Coke and Pepsi is an acceptable answer. Bruce clearly has really good taste, is what I want to say. The waiter returned with their drinks. He set them down and set a big foaming mug of beer in front of each of them. Compliments of the house, sirs. Mr. Gronomon said you two looked a little thirsty. Great, said Isaac. Nothing like a cold, frosty mug of heavy, dark beer to go with my single malt. Helps wash away the taste. What will you gentlemen have for lunch? Queried the waiter, spelled wrong. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close-trimmed hair. Let's start with pate de foie gras and caviar and a basket of crackers to spread them on. Triscuits, wheat thins, stuff like that. And some stuffed mushrooms and truffles on the side, and a couple of triple thick chocolate mocha latte to drink. Pepper and salt, my friends. Pepper and salt. He might be 50 now, but he could still pack it away. Nothing that a few good rounds of racquetball and polo wouldn't burn back off. Too bad Bruce was all knocked up. Bruce had such a studly body, rock-hard abs, and massive shoulders from working out and weightlifting. But he was starting to get just a little pudgy since the accident. Isaac had seen him in the locker room at the gym. Kid was pretty well hung, too. Probably had chicks throwing themselves at him all the time. He'd better stay away from Isaac's daughter, Irene Stevens, though. Kid was making a lot of money with his software development company, too, and Isaac wanted a piece of that. If he could buy his way in now, he might be sitting really pretty in a few more years. Yeah, I always eat caviar with my Triscuit. It's what I do. This is my life. I'd like some artichoke hearts and pickled eggs too, mused Bruce Lucent. And make sure there's plenty of whipped cream on my latte. Yes, sir, exclaimed the waiter. He hurried off to do their bidding in the kitchen. Yeah, this is like what kids are imagining adults eat. Like, I don't know who's imagining what adults eat, but this is some fantasy imagination of fancy food. Bruce rubbed his rock-hard abs. I'm getting a little pudgy with all this inactivity since the accident, he mused. I'll have to really work to get back in shape once I'm better. A good thing that shrapnel just nicked my thigh rather than cutting a little higher, or I might be singing a little higher. Wouldn't want to? Disappoint the ladies. There's gonna be indigestion. The sunlight was very warm on his face and sighed from the window, and he wondered if he was going to start sweating. Fire and ice, he thought to himself. Too cold air and conditioning, and too hot sun. I'm being frozen on one side and roasted on the other. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Thank you for the host, Iffy. By the way, I turned up the volume so you could hear the music a little bit better. So that's, thank you for the host. Right now we're in a restaurant with Bruce Lucent and Isaac Stevens, and we're going to find out about... Bruce is a terrible person. I just thought I'd share that with you. Right now he's feeling ice and fire, too cold air conditioning, and too hot sun. I'm being frozen on one side and roasted on the other. I'll be shivering and sweating at the same time. Isaac will think I've got a fever. Fire and ice cream and jalapeno, ice water and steam, cold and hot, freezing on one side and roasting on the other. He fled uncomfortable, like he had the flu and had a fever. Yeah, I know. It's kind of chilly in here, commiserated Isaac. How come you look so hot? It's this sunlight, groaned Bruce. I'm boiling on one side and freezing on the other. The waiter brought their appetizers and set them in front of them. More beer, he queried. It's on the house. Sure, quipped Bruce and Isaac together. The waiter refilled their mugs. Hot enough for you, he quipped. Yes, shivered Bruce. I'm boiling on one side and freezing on the other. Like fire and ice. Try the cold beer, offered the waiter. That should help cool you down some. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close-trimmed hair. Here's to further success with your company, he enjoined. Bruce returned the toast, and they clanged their frosty mugs of dark beer together, then swilled large mouthfuls down. Yeah. Ah, declaimed Bruce. That was good. Cold. They tucked into the appetizers. There was pâté de foie gras and caviar and stuffed mushrooms and truffles and artichoke hearts and pickled eggs and crackers, and they washed it all down with cold, frosty, dark beer in foamy mugs and sipped their latte. "Ah," exclaimed Bruce, "that was really good. How about some real food now?" "Oh, yes." Teenagers outside. They're cheering. I think they're cheering because the book is so good. He owns half the town, sit in a different place. Beat up an old person if you need to. Yeah, just sit in a different place. This writing is more like Empire. All of the answers. This is how you should write, everyone. Just like this. This is how you should write. I don't even know. They tucked into their appetizers. Oh, I said all that. Yes. "Oh yes," agreed Isaac. "Some real food would really hit the spot now. Waiter, I'd like a half-pound of rare T-bone steak, smothered in mushrooms and onions, and a baked potato with cheese, and sour cream, and bacon bits, and steamed baby carrots, and corn on the cob." Someone dare them to write as much about food as George R.R. Martin for this chapter. Yes. "Yes, sir," exclaimed the waiter. "And you, Mr. Lucent?" "I'll have a roasted chicken stuffed with truffle and cranberry dressing, a baked potato with butter and sour cream, and a side of some baby back ribs." "Yes, sir," he declaimed and hurried off to the kitchen. Bruce scratched at his neck brace. "Who was that babe I saw you with at the party last week?" he simpered. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close-trimmed hair. "That was my daughter, Irene Stevens. She came to the party with me." "Your daughter?" inquired Bruce. "Wow, she was really hot. I'd surely like to get to know her better." "Well," countered Isaac, "that might be arranged as long as things go all right. You understand." "Cool," quipped Bruce. I have a stomachache just listen, and then I'm going to explode. Cool, quipped Bruce, who was feeling hot on one side and cold on the other. "Fire and ice." Bruce wanted to get out of all these casts and things first, though, and to get all his stitches out. Or maybe not. She might feel more compassionate toward him if she saw him this way first, and that could lead to more passionate fun later. What a hot babe. He could hardly wait to see her with her clothes off. They'd start slow. Maybe a game of strip poker or something classy like that. And then once they were ready, they could go right for the brass ring. His slacks tightened, and he winced as one of his stitches pulled out. Bruce rubbed his throbbing crotch where the cast rubbed, and the stitch had pulled out, and his pants were too tight now. "So," he inquired, "what did you want to talk about?" Yeah, right, classy strip poker. It is the classiest. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard and then brushed back his close-trimmed hair. "Well," he countered, "you've been very successful with your software company, and I'd like to talk about that. I really admire a successful man who makes a lot of money, and you're one. Especially as young as you are, to be so successful and making so much money, if you know what I mean. I admire that." "Yes," agreed Bruce, "I'm doing rather well, and I enjoy making money. Not the money so much as all the things it can buy, all the wonderful things I can do with it. I own half this town. Trotter's Corner, now, and someday, I'd like to own half of Atlanta itself. First, I'm going to name this town, though. I'm going to name it Lucentville. Do you hear that, everyone? This town is now Lucentville, and someday, Atlanta will be named Lucent City." Everybody cheered, and the waiter brought their food. More beer, he carried? It's on the house. "Sure," they quipped, and dug into their food. "Well," chewed Stevens around his steak and potatoes and onions and mushrooms and corn on the cob, "I'd like to invest in your company. I'd like to give you a lot of money so that I can have a part of your company, and I'll introduce you to Irene too." Yeah. He just copy and pasted the salt and pepper thing, including the misspelling as well each time, all the time, all the misspellings. Bruce scratched at his neck brace. Well, he gobbled past his roast chicken and ribs. "That sounds quite decent of you. I think I'd like that. And I'm especially looking forward to getting to know Irene Stevens better, if you know what I mean. She was hot, fire and ice." They devoured their food and drank more toasts from tall, foamy mugs of ice-cold beer. To Lucentville! To Lucent Software Development Corp. To Irene Stevens. To life! Fire and ice. At last they finished their meals. Isaac rubbed his pepper and salt beard, then brushed back his close-trimmed hair. How about some dessert? Inquired Isaac. Bruce rubbed his throbbing crotch where the cast rubbed it against it, and his stitch had pulled out, and his pants were swollen with lust. Dessert would be great, declaimed Bruce. I'm famished. Fire and ice. I feel, Levi says, I feel like there's more of a process to rename a town than just yelling in a restaurant. But he does own half of the town. Like maybe you do need a new sign for the post office. That's possible. I think we just put it on the internet because he's a software developer. So I think he can just do it, right? I think it's fine. Same things repeated every few lines. Yes. Chapter 7. This is the Song of Ice and Fire that everyone's been talking about, you know, because it's been all over the news and all over social media. Everyone's like, oh, Song of Ice and Fire. Yeah. It's this book. This is everyone don't think it's a thing from HBO. It's this book. This is the one. This is the Song of Ice and Fire everyone's talking about. Oh yes, through there. Chapter 7. Margaret and Irene sat in silence for 32 minutes, each gathering their thoughts together, each afraid to say the first word, knowing that the first word could lead anywhere, including the truth. No, Metallica's cover of Ice and Fire is the rage. But is it better than this book? Denise, is it better than this book? Irene signaled for a latte with one hand and fingered her long blonde hair with the other, twisting it again and again until it spiraled like a golden staircase leading to the top of her head. When the pain started, she wept, expostulating. I don't know what I'll do without Henry. He was the center of the world. It's kind of about the same level of writing. Okay, I'll let my friends know that they're wrong, says Thunair. I feel my typos work here. Yes, low bar. That's what you need. The typos are part of the aesthetic. So Isaac Stevens is clearly the stock manipulator who's also an informant for the police. And Margaret and Irene are friends. And apparently she's sad about Henry, who's the one who also died in a car accident on the road. So, you know. Even the center of the world has to die sometime. Margaret sat sideways in her chair, her breasts a pair of protruding alps. He didn't seem like the kind of man who died, Irene said. Sometimes, when we were in bed making love at the very edge of the surf where the waves washed over us again and again, I looked at his face and saw something there that not even all the forces of erosion could ever wash away. He was a determined man, and in his position he had to be, and I knew that too, looking up at him, wanting only for him to be there forever. He was old, you know. He was around in the 70s and everything. But there was an agelessness to him, a beautiful, eternal... Ooh. Somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Oh, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Coolian, thank you for the follow. That puts us at, like, a bunch of followers. Where are we at? We're like 480 followers, everybody. When we hit 500 followers, that's in 20, we're going to do a stream in Pig Latin. We're going to do a visual novel in Pig Latin, so you're going to be able to read the subtitles. But I'm telling you, 481. You're right, it's 481. Ooh, Atlanta Nights doing the work. 19 more, and then a stream in Pig Latin. 19 ne orme, and we inde ewe imstre inwe igpale atenle. Ooh, oh, say exciting way. Yeah, the overlay just takes its sweet time, that overlay, whatever overlay. Thank you for the follow, by the way. This is Denise, I see you. Ukfe. So right now we're talking about Irene is talking about her boyfriend. Oh, I was looking at the Latin word for oink. Mm-hmm. So there was this agelessness to him, a beautiful eternal foreverness that shone from him like the light from a lighthouse, or like the sunlight from the sun. He made me feel like a child again, and I wanted to stay in bed with him, feeling him warm my world, cooled by the waves that washed over us until the stars went out. That's what I expected anyway. That's what he promised. And now he's dead. his heart stopped. Margaret's eyes darted toward Irene in expressive regard. Yes. The sunlight, I know, right? The sunlight from the sun. What am I supposed to do without him? The unanswerable stolidity of the question echoed in the space between them, and there was nothing Margaret could say that could make the other woman feel any better. As a nurse who had been taking care of people about to die, and who had died for longer than most people could guess, she had spoken to her share of people mourning the death of their loved ones. She had earned a nationwide reputation for her bedside management, as she always knew what to say to make people take the deaths of those they cared for most for just another part of life that needed to be endured and which would one day feel better. Doctors always asked Margaret to help when their patients died, but some deaths were not like other deaths. Some deaths were too much to be borne. This is a very long run-on sentence, but that's, part of the joy of Atlantic Nights. Run-on sentences. Too bad. So sad. No, her bedside, not manner, Levi, bedside management. Her bedside management is the best in the world. Some deaths hit those who were left behind like a bomb exploding in their houses, leaving just rubble behind. Margaret did not know what to say to this spectacularly beautiful woman before her, to make her feel better. The man she loved more than she loved life itself had been so cruelly taken from her. Right, Levi, you got to get the words right, like they do in this book. A tear formed in the corner of her own eye, the left, as she shook her head and said, I don't know. Sometimes we lose the whole reason we're alive. Sometimes we have to go out somehow and find a new reason, a reason not dictated by law or morality or even sense. Some new person to love, some new way to live, some new purpose to make the night seem warmer. I think Henry was probably the kind of man who knew that if he ever died in a horrible car accident, leaving you behind, that you would find the courage to stand up and move on and climb out of this place where you are. He would not want you to be here now or ever. He would want you at the beach where you were at your best in the waves in bed. Not yet, Grellin. We're learning about bedside management. Maybe Irene swigged her steaming latte in one scalding gulp. And maybe what? I remember one night, the best night for us, he took me to Rome, where we stood in the light of the Eiffel Tower and watched the people go by. I understand that the Eiffel Tower is not in Rome, but this book does not understand that. It's okay. There was one couple there who reminded us of us. There was another man Henry's age, another woman my age, and they were laughing together, just laughing, hard, the way people laugh when they really feel the joy of life. The two of them laughing till the tears came down the sides of their faces in great cascades, and I was a little worried that they would not be able to breathe, but Henry said, Look at them, Irene. Just look at them. Look at her, and look at him. Look at them. The very themes of them, It's not a she and a him, but a them. Two of them together in one unit laughing and laughing here in the city of brotherly love. Their laughs echoing and echoing and echoing up and up and up, drowning out the traffic and the conversations of other tourists and the singing of the Christmas cajoler and even the motor noises filling the world. It was a lot of laughing. But me remember Harry squeezing my hand. No, I don't know, Coolian. Selling your daughter for a bad business deal. Maybe Rome has a place like Paris, Tennessee, with a scale effort. Maybe that's possible. Did these people in Rome maybe have what you would call, I don't know, joie de vivre? I think they do. Rome, the city of brotherly love. Oh yeah. Pardon me, Irene is still talking because it's a long paragraph of Irene talking. And me remember Harry, his name was Henry, squeezing my hand till the bones hurt and saying, I laughed like that once many years ago when I was a boy, and I don't even remember the joke anymore, but I always wanted to laugh that way again. And sometimes when I take a good look at you, I think I have a chance. And I never thought of it again, but he also said that night, You know, honey, I'm much older than you, and that means I'll be dead before you, and it'll be worth dying even in a terrible car wreck, if that means that between now and the moment of that car wreck, we laugh at least once as hard as that couple walking by just now, though they were long past us by the time he got around to saying that. He said, make me laugh like that again, Irene. And I said, surely, but you know, there's always the older man, younger woman thing, and as much as I thought of him as some kind of god, we never once got around to making him laughs. Rome has sisterly love. Rome has papal love. That's probably true. Twisting her hair into a braid using the same finger she had been using before, she said, and now I will have to live my entire life, however long that turns out to be, knowing that I never gave him what he wanted. I made him come, but I never made him guffaw. The sun broke through the clouds then, its brilliant golden disk burning a hole through the great puffs of water vapor to send a shaft of golden light zigzagging down through the layers of atmosphere and warm the earth in a way that no sunlight since the beginning of time had ever warmed the earth before. Somewhere a child was being born. Somewhere a dog was barking. Life was going on, but in this one moment at this particular place and time and space. The two beautiful women, one twisting her hair into knots, the other sitting sideways, were not part of it. They were here only for each other, and for the memory of a great man who had walked the earth like a rock in the sand. Life is like that sometimes, thought Margaret helplessly. Sometimes is just an interruption in the day and not a part of it. The trick is knowing when it's day and when it's night, and the lightness or darkness has nothing to do with telling the difference between them. The death of a man like Henry Archer was definitely night, even if it took place at noon. It was like an eclipse of the world. There must have been people even in distant primitive villages who had felt the moment he breathed his last. They must have looked up at the night sky or even the day sky and said, "What was that?" meaning him. Irene lit a cigarette and blew out a huge cloud of smoke. "What am I going to do without him?" she wailed. "What?" Margaret had no answer except for the ones she had already given. The Vatican is not Rome. I had to get up, but I feel like I didn't miss much, says Barantor. No, but you did miss some guffaws, and some brains melting. The brains did melt halfway through chapter 1. This is fair. He walked the earth like a rock in the sand. Rocks, you know. I made him come, but here's the thing, B-Boodle. Come was misspelled, so it was C-O-M-E, but I never made him guffaw. The book has made it gay. So, our last chapter for today, chapter 8. Richard studied the menu like a shark, savoring a school of... Sorry, let me reread this. Richard studied the menu like a shark savoring a school of fish, while the waiter impatiently tapped his fountain pen against his pad. Across the table, he felt Callie Archer's eyes upon him, waiting for him to make up his minds. Yet his mind wasn't on lunch, but upon Callie. He could sense her own impatience with him, as if she was trying to decide whether she wanted to be dining with him at all, or whether she would be just as happy to be eating by herself. Best work ever. 10 out of 10. Would prop up a wobbly table with it again. Totally, I would too. Hey, I have it, by the way, I have a command, in case you want to know. Atlanta Nights. I have a command in case you want to buy the book, because I'm very happy and pleased to note that the authors of the book gave me permission to read this on stream for you all. So, you know, yay for us. I know I have, because like sometimes I'm like, wait, is that, oh no, that is a misspelling. I'll take the filet mignons, he said. Rare, please, and with the garlic mashed potatoes. And to start, perhaps the New England clams chowder. He briefly consulted the wine list. And perhaps a bottle of Riesling, please, 1999 vintage. Very good, sir. The young waiter, whose name tag said his name was Frederick, and who sported a pencil-thin mustache, studiously jotted it all down and then turned to Callie. "And for you, madam, may I recommend the calamari soufflé? It's in season." Rare. The pluralization, the spelling, the pluralization is so good. Clams chowder. "Yes, I think so," she said stiffly. "And a chef's salad to start, but hold the dressing, please." "As you wish, madam." Frederick clicked his pen, then moved off into the hustle and bustle of the restaurant. La bonhomie was busy today, busier than usual. Richard ate here often, usually with other Peachtree Street brokers who he was trying to get info from about deals they were making. It was one of the best, most fashionable bistros in Atlanta, which is why he liked it so much. The service was superb, and the food was pretty good, too. Nude England clams chowder. "And so," Richard said, as he unfolded his napkin and laid it daintily across his lap, "how are you getting along, now that Henry is gone?" "Oh, Callie Archer must be Henry's wife, which means that Irene Stevens was having an affair with Henry Archer, I'm thinking. Maybe? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out." Callie reached into her handbag, pulled out a compact. "As well as could be expected, I suppose," she said, opening it to study her reflection in its mirror. "Oh, I miss him so much, but..." she sniffed, then closed it and tucked it back in her bag. "Well, life must go on, you know. Life must go on." Yes, it does. She wore a black silk dress today. That's two different words, today. Low cut, better to expose the generous mounds of her bosom. Callie was a fine-looking woman, Richard had to admit, and the dress left little to his teeming imagination. Her nipples, like the silver dollars he used to collect when he was a kid, pressed against the fabric, arousing him. Yes, it does indeed. Life must go on. Is the logic of these events consistent? I think that we use our own minds to sort of make them make sense, but yeah. Because that's what fiction books that are not, that's what drama books are all about, I suppose. Callie observed his interest. She pouted, looking like the Mona Lisa having a bad day. Is there a reason why you asked me to come here, Richard? Then she lowered her voice to a husky contralto. Or should I call you Dick? He caught her meaning, found his livid face turning red. No, he said. Richard would be just fine, Callie. I was just admiring your dress. From China, isn't it? Yes, she said. From Hong Kong. Henry took me there many years ago for one of his boring business trips. I love the shops. I think I must have spent hours in them. Bung things you can't buy here in America. And he was very generous, too. I think I must have maxed out an American Express Platinum card on just clothes and jewelry. Oh, what a trip that was. Like silver dollars. This is so much better than being at work. I'm sitting with the windows down in the parking lot listening, and I have to keep turning it down because sane people walk by my car. I totally understand that, Barantor. I can imagine, Richard said. He wondered if the police would be interested in her purchases when she was abroad. Because remember, maybe he's the cop, I think. He had little doubt that many of them had not been declared with U.S. Customs. But a woman like her wouldn't have had much trouble dealing with lowly customs inspectors, now would she? She would have just smiled her and winked and perhaps slipped a $100 bill across the counter. And a horny young customs inspector would have let this rich dame pass. Happens all the time. And it fits you well, too, he added. He's the cop. Richard is the cop. She glowered at him from across the table. You're not here to ask me about my wardrobe, Callie said. Where is it? I lost my line. Where was it? What do you really have on your mind? Really? Oh, you know, Richard Isaacs crossed Isaac Stevens, Richard Isaacs. Yes, the names are made to confuse you. Oh, you know, Richard Isaacs crossed his legs casually, like a king sitting upon his throne and examining a peasant who had come to him in supplication. Don't quote Alice in Wonderland to me, she quietly seethed. You're up to something, and I want to know what it is. This is, I think you can. You can just take a woman out to ask about her wardrobe, I think. Also, I don't think that was a quote from Alice in Wonderland, but whatever. Oh, she was a tempestuous little wench, wasn't she? Henry Archer didn't deserve her. Hadn't deserved. He reminded himself. 20 years younger than he was, and manipulative as hell's own vixen, but she'd known how to spend his money, didn't she? But now Henry was gone. Ann's. She had been left with his considerable fortune, along with his company, and Richard was interested in both. The company and the widow who controlled it, that is. I'm wondering what you intend to do with Richard's company, he said, as the waiter returned with the first part of their meal. Do you intend to keep it, or is it your intent to sell? If you lose your line, don't worry, just start wherever. It's probably true. She waited while the waiter, Frederick, by the way, Frederick is spelled differently almost all the time. This is true. She waited while their waiter, Frederick, placed her salad in front of her, then saved a generous portion of black pepper and Parmesan cheese on top of it. She glared at the plate. There's anchovy on this, she huffed. I cannot abide anchovies. Remove it at once, please, and bring me another. Oui, madame, anything to please. The waiter looked annoyed, but he disappeared with the plate and came back a second later with a fresh salad without anchovies. Satisfied, she speared a crouton with her silver fork and shoved it into her mouth. The waiter smirked with disdain, then carefully placed a bowl of New England clam chowder in front of Richard. It was hot and fragrant, just the way he liked it. He smiled and nodded. Bon appetit, Frederick said, and then he moved away to attend his other customers. Frederick is just lucky he has the same misspelled name each time. This is true. Some people get different names. Maybe you can work this book into your lecturing reading list. I feel like you could. I feel like there's a lot you can talk about there. That's true. A real hack would have changed his name each time it appeared. I haven't decided about the company yet, Callie drawled, chewing thoughtfully upon her food. I suppose I could sell it, but, she hesitated, daubing at the corners of her eyes with her napkin. Oh, what would Henry say if I sold the company he struggled so long and hard to build? I imagine he would want you to do what was best for you. Once again, Richard found himself examining her cleavage, so soft, so firm, like Florida cantaloupes, ripe for the picking. Although she was young enough to be his own child, he found himself wondering what it might be like to have her in bed, to run his hand through her silky black tresses, to knead and stroke and cajole her breasts into submission, to slip his hands between her thighs and explore the damp, warm secrets within. Henry Archer must have done this time and time again when they were married, and Henry had been only a few years younger. And now? No, he couldn't. Once more, Richard found himself becoming aroused, and he fought to keep his mind on the immediate problem at hand. Wait, no, it's set in Atlanta. Levi, it's Atlanta nights. Yes, you cajole breasts, I think. It's also set in hell. You could do this, he said, idly stirring the bowl of chowder. But the company stock, put on the open market now, could fetch quite a high price, perhaps even 10 times as much as it's presently worth on the New York Exchange. You could be very rich. I'm already rich, Callie said, but there was a flash of avarice in her dark eyes as they rose to meet his. 10 times as much, you say? Surely you jest. I'm not joking. Have you seen today's The Wall Street Journal? The story about Henry's car crash has sent the prices through the ceiling. The NASDAQ itself is running wild. It's the talk of the town. Richard stared back at her. The time to sell is now, Callie. And I'd only too pleased to help, if only you let me. Her breast heaved against the taut fabric of her black dress, and again his eyes fell to them. Yes, she would be grateful, and once she'd properly expressed her gratitude, perhaps his friends in the police department would be grateful to him. Henry's tragic car accident had been too convenient, too swift. Callie Archer had more secrets than what she had hidden beneath her Victoria's Secret lingerie, and all he needed to do was to get at them, and he would be. How on earth does he ever get any work done? I know all he thinks about is sex. I don't know how he gets work done. Yeah, I thought that stocks fell on the owner's death, but apparently not. Also, there's an ellipsis after "and he would be." It does not finish that sentence. A dark shadow falls across the table, and a new voice interrupted them. "Pardon me," it said, "but is this seat taken?" Richard jerked his head up and peered at the uninvited intruder. Bruce Lucent, the software developer. Young, handsome, well-known around Atlanta for the software he developed. What was he doing here? Here, misspelled. "I couldn't help but overhear," Bruce said, as if in answer to the unasked query. "Callie, I'm so sorry to hear about Bruce's death. He meant so much to the rest of us." "I didn't know you knew him well." Richard couldn't help but notice how Callie's eyes roved over him. Bruce was younger even than Callie. Yet even despite the auto accident he'd suffered, his body was lean and trim, with a youthful verve that Richard could barely remember. "Please have a seat. We just ordered." "Why, thank you. I think I will." Bruce moved to the empty chair at the table, then snapped his fingers at the waiter. "Garçon!" Misspelled. "A menu, please." "Oui, at once, monsieur." Misspelled. And as the waiter hurried away to fetch a board for the unexpected interloper, Richard realized the plot had thickened indeed. And that is the end of chapter 8, everyone. He's a software developer. He develops software. And I think we all know how software development works, clearly. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, Be Right UK, thank you so much for the tips. Apparently this is distraction. Hello, Be Right. Krellin, you missed a lot. You just missed so much. I don't even know. If your plot is too thick, just add some adverbs. Software development is basically magic. But Be Right donated bits, and so I must sing We're in the Money in Pig Latin as sung by Ginger Rogers in The Gold Diggers of 1933. Hey-o, spooky lot. I'm gonna sing right now. Earway and hey, the anime. Earway and hey, the anime. Eve way at gale at way of way at way at way exte ute et gale young way oh. Earway and hey, the anime. Either I skaze or ani say. Ooh. Everybody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Thank you, Spooky Lot, for the follow. That puts us 18 away from a Pig Latin stream. Either I skaze or ani say. Old man the 80 ashen pray uyare u three ubri aste angreo. Iwe every idwe adleansley of wed bransley ute day. And we see the end lord we ukley at the eye gay right in the eye. We're in the money. We're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Ginger Rogers is so amazing. She's amazing. Okay, Spooky Lot, thank you for the alert. And by the way, thank you so much for the follow. This will be, making me happy. So here's, it's the Earwig and Hey anime song. I got the whole thing down with her original lyrics, Levi. I've got all of them. And it's a thing. So here's what's happening. We are going to switch over to talking about RPGs, but we have a guest, and that guest is Anna Geeks. And I need to get her up on the stream. So So, right, the rhythm is right, Levi. I got the rhythm. It's ooh ye are ye ooh thray you up this aswayong rayo. Like, I've got the rhythm now. I'm so excited. So excited. Original lyrics. Here's what's up. I'm gonna just scoot over to the break stream so that I can get Anna Geeks up on my overlay, and then we're gonna talk RPGs with Anna Geeks. So, RPG chat, it'll take me about maybe 5 minutes, I think, to get her up and on the stream. And so give me 5, and I'll be back in 5 with Anna Geeks, and it's gonna be awesome. Ooh, Anna Geeks is hosting. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Woo! Hey, Anna Geeks. We're gonna be up in like less than 5 minutes. Get something to drink, and we'll be back shortly. In like 2 seconds. And give me a second. We'll be there.
Oh my fluffing goodness. I'm okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Here's the hilarious thing. You have, I think it's a microphone, an earbud, something. Yeah, okay. Yep. Hilarious thing. You have, I think. Okay, I can hear myself now. That's not desirable. Yep. Sorry. Okay, I can hear myself now. That's not desirable. Perhaps the stream is not muted. Hi everyone.